Today I have an entrepreneur who I feel that will come on here to talk to us specifically about how to be able to build a business that allows you to live your ideal lifestyle. And today I have Gabriel Del Rossi, and he's from AdventureTravelLife.com to talk to us about how can we the whole idea of building a business. You want to have freedom, and some people want to have this business around an ideal lifestyle, and I want you to shed some more light on that. And so go ahead, introduce yourself to my audience.
Hello, thank you, Owen. My name is Gabriel Del Rossi, and I run adventure travel trips. I've been in the field of adventure travel for over 15 years, mainly as a guide. So what adventure travel is bringing folks from sort of a more professional work life into a very active holiday. It could be a bicycle trip, it could be a kayak trip, it could be hiking in the Cinque Terre, it could be tasting great food in Provence, for example. And so that's basically what I've been doing for quite some time. So
definitely. And like we introduced the audience saying that we want to learn from you how exactly as a result of your business you're living your ideal lifestyle, because that's something that is huge now, especially entrepreneurs that don't want to feel like, oh, this business controls my life. I want to control this business and have it as a result of having this business be able to achieve my own ideal lifestyle. So let's walk into that. For instance, how exactly, in what ways the business that you have, how does it allow you to live that ideal lifestyle?
Right. Well, I mean, first of all, I would say to any entrepreneur, I mean, I guess the most difficult part is discovering what it is that you like to do. I would imagine some entrepreneurs are so possibly bogged down with their businesses that maybe it's considered it's considered simply a business. And it could be kind of hard to figure out what it is that actually makes them tick. It could be tennis, it could be chess, it could be bridge. But I guess the most important obstacle is to kind of discover what it is that really makes you live. What it is that really floats your boat, and try to find business opportunities within that, which is exactly what I did. I mean, I started off, I was fresh out of college, and I was an athlete. I liked to bike a lot. In fact, I biked all the time, and my family is Italian, so I spoke a decent amount of Italian at home, and I happened to get connected with a tour operator in Italy. And they were looking for, ideally, cyclists that speak Italian, and so it was a perfect fit. And it was also sort of being an independent contractor, there was absolutely no guarantee for anything. But at the same time, I loved it. I mean, it really gave me a great chance to travel. It gave me a chance to stay active. It gave me a chance to eat great food and taste great wine. It gave me a chance to practice my language skills, and I discovered that these were the things that I loved to do.
And go ahead. I mean, let me not stop you from making your point. Go ahead. I'm saving my questions for when you're done. Go ahead.
No problem. But in any case, having tried other jobs such as teaching, for example, or managing, sort of in the more classic sense of it, I started to realize that I missed that kind of lifestyle because I was able to integrate everything, and so I found a way in order to make that my lifestyle, in order to make it my business.
Definitely. So you started out, you went, got involved with a company that, they did something that you were interested in, but then you're taking it to the next level where you're trying to take some of the ideas from what you were doing in the previous company and now turn it into a business. So what steps did you even have to take in the first place to even do that?
Well, let's see. First couple steps I had to take. Well, I guess a lot of experience to begin with. Just by the first steps were kind of learning the ropes, as I say. Just kind of learning the base work of guiding people, of understanding people's needs, especially if somebody's in a foreign country. They are, you'd be surprised how needy they get. That's a bad choice of words. It's not that they're needy, just insecure. They're out of their element. So I kind of honed my own people skills. And in fact, to to any salesman who may be out there, it's actually a great way to be working directly with your customers, because you're working directly with the people who would be interested in creating a relationship. All right, because there's a lot of trust in there as well, especially in this field. And so yeah, so you have to, one of the first obstacles to get your head around is kind of understanding how people tick and learning how they operate under different circumstances. The next more professional obstacles I had to come over were just simply learning a little bit more of the ropes, sort of a logistical point of view, learning the languages as well, but also organizational bits. I started to get into organizing tours in France and Italy. Yeah. And so that came to my sort of scheduling, not only my own schedule, but scheduling each event, making sure that everything was working properly. I was kind of a on-the-road manager in a way, just sort of taking these bits of information that would come from our home office along with a budget and making sure that all those bits kind of worked out well. So it was a lot of training, sort of a baptism by fire, as they say, where you had customer service, you had budgets, you had managerial skills. You kind of had everything together for a very intense week to 10 days. Yeah. And then after that, I had to learn all the behind the scenes work. That is, how to set up a business, how to get insurance for your company, how to set up a website and a blog and the rest. So it's been sort of I've been creating it backwards, I would believe. I believe most people have an idea and they build the business and then they kind of figure out, how to build the product and everything else. I've been actually this time building from the product back to creating my own business, which has been not too difficult, but not extremely easy either. So.
Yeah, and let's even give some more meat to that. Where you say some people have a product, an idea, and then they're trying to build based off that. But in your case, the model and the form of what you wanted to do, you had the baseline of what interests you like, what you're passionate about. But now you're trying to build on top of that, and you're saying that it didn't have a concrete base of what it was, but you knew that you wanted something. And so in that process of creating the business. Now you're in a situation where you're working, doing something that you love, and you're about to turn that activity into a business. I mean, like, how do you keep that separate? Because they say people always say, when it comes to ideal lifestyle type of businesses, you're trying to work on something that you're passionate about. But how do you keep the things that you love about what you do, and also the business part? How do those two things relate? That's what I'm trying to get from you.
That's an excellent question, Owen, because I guess like anyone who's in any field, even if it's a passion of yours, it could get kind of boring at a certain point. I mean, if it becomes a business, even painters or anybody who's in design or creative fields, in order to make ends meet, you kind of have to feed the beast at a certain time. It's people are depending on you in order to produce something, and it's much the same way. I can't say that there are days where it's taxing, especially dealing with all kinds of conundrums that can happen from all different areas. You need to be very resourceful and think on your feet very quickly. But at the end of the day, it's great. I mean, at the end of the day, when I'm exchanging emails with folks who had a wonderful time, or I receive a thank you from a bike supplier or from a hotel chain, or from a certain restaurant in particular, I mean, there are all these great connections in the end. So I guess that's what it's all about. Yeah, on the one hand, I am taking my passions and I'm really pushing them to the limit. But the end product comes out to be the human interaction, which for me is by and large the most valuable aspect of what I do. So yeah.
Definitely. And I keep people keep saying focus on your passion, and then from your passion there comes a business that you can run with and make money from. But then there's also the thing of how did you even verify and research that there is even a need for something that you wanted to turn into a company based on the fact, yes, you're passionate about it, but I'm trying to figure out like what steps did you take to actually verify that this is something that you can actually turn into a business?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I can't say the mantra, if you build it, they will come, doesn't always work, as we all know, especially in an economy where things are a bit sketchy. However, it's interesting how there are certain products out there, there are certain services that sometimes I don't think people know that they would enjoy. And that's where it comes down to the marketer to push. You can't just put up a website and expect people to hit upon it. You really need to go out and figure out, are people interested in this? And if so, would they be willing to come all the way to Europe, or would they be willing to travel to an unknown, to a country with a language that they don't know how to speak? So in that case, that's where the marketing comes down to be. It's pretty specific, and I go to I discovered a while ago that there are different bike clubs that are very interested in this kind of training camp. For example, they're a little bit more high geared for doing a lot of miles than the rest. There are also other people. I know a number of travel agents in the field who are often contacting me for food trips. They want to just they want to have nothing to do with biking whatsoever. It's more about the culinary experience. I mean, and by all means, I mean, especially if you're in Italy, what better way to travel than from plate to plate, correct? So and that's it. Once you have one of those leads, it's usually one of those leads that can produce other leads. And once you have a trip of, say, maybe even 10 people, each one of them has a friend that may have an interest. It could be an interest in painting. It could be an interest in biking. It could be an interest in kayaking. It could be an interest in Italian film. All kinds of stuff. And it's just the way that, at least with my line of work, I can take those interests and I can tweak them to say, hey, we can do a trip that focuses on Italian film, for example. There are various film festivals in Italy. I have a number of friends that work as professors, and we could have a talk about them. So I guess the lesson is kind of to find those little nuggets. What is it that interests people, and provide them with something that they didn't even know exists. And it sounds really cool. It sounds like a really cool idea. And then afterwards, it's not just giving them a product. And where my field differs from others, it's an actual experience. I mean, they actually come out and they have a personal connection with me, and they have this great experience, and they have these great memories, and that through the course of the year will be something that brings them back out. Be like, hey, we had a great time, and we want to repeat that. We want to do that again, and that's why repeat customers are huge in my business. So
definitely. And you said something that really stood out to me, was basically you're starting a product that you don't even really know that there's an exact need for, but what you did was look for maybe the parallels or the things that are kind of similar, and basically try and go after those people that have needs that might be similar, and try and relate them back to the experience that you can actually give them as a result of something that they're already interested in. Mm-hmm. Is that the case? And you said you went to people that had interest to get new biking experience, and maybe, for instance, people that had need to try different types of food. But at the end of the day, it's really how can you take that experience that they want, and the main reason that what they're most interested in, but try and relate it back to what your service really is, which is crafting that experience for them.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly what it's about. It's about taking people's interests and creating a sort of a bigger playing field for it, so that they could express those interests in a great way. Again, most people spend so much of their day working, doing something they have to do, and I think on their vacation time they would love to do something that they want to do, to express or to sort of fulfill that inner interest, whatever it could be. And in my field, again, I work with French and Italian culture, Spanish culture as well. So I look for those avenues, anything that anyone says about that. And of course, I do my own market research, and I look to see, what's hot, what's going on. Is it Italian fashion, or is it what kind of food, especially? Food is huge in Europe and in Italy, and so I try to work with different companies, or like Slow Food, for example, which is a big deal here in the States, but it's been a very large deal in Italy for a long time. So these are all different avenues that can be pursued in order to have that close and personal connection with your customer.
Definitely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but like in a business like this, maybe where it's really based on giving them that thrill of the experience, and they might not necessarily have even needed the experience in the first place, or maybe didn't know they need the experience. How? I mean, I'm trying to figure out in an economy where people are trying to cut back. What are you doing to really get them to see? Okay, yes, you think you don't need it, but this experience might open a whole lot of doors for you. I'm trying to figure out how do you get past that barrier of the way economy is, where back in the days people were more buoyant, would do a lot of trips and all that. You understand the point I'm saying? But now people are trying to cut back, and yet you have a business that's based on trying to give people that experience and that thrill. How do you bridge that challenge?
It's true that it is a big challenge. It's a very big challenge, especially in international travel. Most people have cut down on their trips. However, it's again it's that personal contact. I mean, I don't just send out emails to folks. I do call them. Some of my old clientele, for example, I'll get on the phone with them. And that, I think, in itself helps to trigger the memories that we had and sort of the experience that we shared once upon a time. As a result, also, and this isn't easy for every business entrepreneur, I realize that, but I also travel a lot, and I go out to these centers. I go out to San Francisco, I go out to Colorado, and I meet with these people in order to see exactly what their needs are, or what their restrictions are. Absolutely. It could be that it's an economic restriction. Well, we can work with that. We can stay in a smaller hotel, or I can make a trip that doesn't need to have these lavish 4-course meals every evening. Again, I design all of the trips, so I can also make them custom trips depending on what people are looking for. But you'd be surprised, though, and I think when it comes down to people treating themselves for a trip like this, they're not too over the top, and people will usually come through with the funds necessary in order to make sure that the trip is a great experience, because that's it. It is money in the end, and they do pay for it, but the memory lasts forever, and it's an enriching experience. And I do strongly believe that it's experiences like these that allow people to go back to their sort of regular jobs or regular life, and with kind of a new take on things. It's kind of a different way of maybe viewing the world. Ideally, that could just be me being a bit of an idealist, but I do think travel changes people even in the slightest way, even if it's in connecting with people on a more personal level, or sort of looking a little bit more at the internet. Oh, what's going on in Italy now? Now that I spent some time in Liguria, I wonder what's happening in Liguria. So it changes them even in the smallest bit, but always for the better, I believe. So.
And I'm just curious though, because I know that travel is a thing where especially the kind of trips where you use very active travel, where you actually get to besides just going to the hotels and all that and relax, and you actually go in there and being very active and really trying to experience the places you go to. So it helps to recharge and re-inspire you to go back to to your business and all that. And I'm curious, in terms of how are you trying to get people to basically experience those places without necessarily being there? Like, how are you able to give them that insight as to how this place might be if you actually come there, but maybe they're not there yet? I'm trying to figure out what you're doing in terms of marketing like that.
Right. Well, in terms of marketing, in fact, that was always troublesome for the longest period of time, because there was a lot of, especially in this industry, there was a lot of funding spent in print publications. So a lot of funding in print publication, which was always very nice. You'd always have these nice picture books, but it didn't quite give you the same experience. I have started a pretty aggressive internet campaign, doing a lot of internet video as well, doing a lot of online video. I am a strong advocate for online video, for online photo as well. Obviously, the photographs will definitely give a completely different image to a person's cube, for example, or the box in which they work. However, it's the video that really delivers the experience, and I try to tape as many of my trips as possible, but also I just try to film the restaurants and the hotels, and just kind of give more of a general idea of what kind of accommodations we have, or what kind of meals we have, or what the biking is like, or what the wine tastings are like. And so for me, again, since I'm on the road often, I don't really have time to always be, and I'm on the road, but I'm also in different time zones. So I'm often in Europe, or I'll be on the West Coast, or luckily, Owen, you got me on the East Coast here. So we're in the same time zone. But again, I've found that it's, for me, it's very easy to update the blog, to get that video up there, so that that gives a more direct impression of what this kind of trip is like. And yeah, so people can see it firsthand, which is a far cry from the old years of just doing print publication, which is all and good, and I still think print publication has its place. But since a lot of people are at work and they do go on the web, I think they find a lot of time to kind of, go onto Facebook or to go onto YouTube to check out a few videos, and it already starts those synapses start firing at that point. Start to dream, maybe a trip in Italy is not such a bad idea next year. Let's see if we can get this to work. So.
Definitely, and I like that, because now it's kind of like, instead of going the old route of trying to send out, spend that money, send out flyers, print beautiful brochures and all that, and not even knowing if they're even going to want to come out. Now you can even give them even more of a more in-depth experience of this is how it's going to be by doing the video things like you're talking about, and
exactly.
The pictures, and even blogging about your experience, to give them that, kind of like a sneak, a preview. This could be you kind of thing.
All right. Well, what another thing you were talking about, like flyers and print publication. I personally, I feel that print publication should be used at a very bare minimum, especially in my. I like to take people outside, and the nice thing about being outside is that there isn't a lot of trash around, ideally. And so for my line of work, if I'm going to be taking people outside and I want to take them to the real, sort of savage parts of the world where, there's really nothing around but beautiful trees or coastline, I feel it would be sort of a contradiction if I, on the other hand, was to send out flyers and pamphlets and pieces of paper everywhere. That doesn't work for me. So it's also sort of a more a green choice for me. To do everything. It's 90% online, 90% online, and do some trade shows as well when I'm in the area. But no, for the most part, it's all pretty organic, and it comes from the internet, and it comes again from past clientele who has generated this kind of buzz. And yeah, I haven't had anything go viral yet, but I'm quite okay with that. I'm not interested in going viral.
Yeah, and it all boils down to how, that ideal lifestyle, how you want your representation of what your business should be, and that's how you basically having it be through your marketing, decided to go the route you're going. And one thing that the audience might be wondering is, you're doing all this traveling around, and yet you have to run a business. There's definitely certain things that you need to, several tools that you need to make use of to still run your business. So now, let's go into more of the tools that you use while you're traveling and going to all these different places to be able to still get business done. Sure.
Well, let me see. Just going through a very general list of the most important tools. I would say some of the most important tools are, well, my computer, the one I'm talking to you right now. I do not have a desktop computer. I have my MacBook Pro, and so yeah, that's a little plug for Apple, I guess, because they make quite an impressive piece of machinery. It is from this piece of machinery that I do all my photo and video, all my blog stuff, all of the editing of the videos as well. I mean, everything. I do some other marketing for colleagues of mine that are doing different kinds of trips. Maybe they're doing mountain bike trips, and I do all of that. I do all of our web stuff as well, the design of our detailed itineraries, for example, all done right here. So you're talking to me off of that screen. As far as the cameras are concerned, I have a rather large red backpack that I carry with me that has a 35 millimeter digital camera to take really nice scenic shots. And I have two lenses in there. One's kind of a zoom, one's more of a wide angle lens. For those nice sort of panoramic shots. I have with me I think I have 3 different video cameras. One's a video camera that's sort of a sports camera to be mounted on handlebars or ski equipment or the rest. One's a more pocket camera. I have another larger high-definition camera for the video as well. So all kinds of stuff and hard drives and everything. But it's all portable. It has to be portable because my office is basically wherever I sit down. So I have all of that information. Of course, I have all that material. I also have my bike helmet or my ski helmet. I try to ship my stuff wherever I need to go. I have a base in Europe that I kind of keep everything at. And a picture of my girlfriend always with me, which is probably the most important piece of equipment that I have.
And in regards to management of your clients' information, like a CRM or to have feedback, is maybe you're working with them and trying to walk them through the process of they're interested, but you're trying to get them to the point of now they actually are buying a trip. Obviously, there has to be a way in which you're managing that communication with them, trying to get more insight as to what tools you use for CRM and all that, because you are a mobile businessman. I'm trying to figure out that.
That is correct. Yeah, as far as CRM is concerned, I mean, well, I have an internet key, so I can get on there, and I do my emails every evening. If any customers usually contact me via email. If they're looking for a phone call, I will phone them. I will phone them either on the road from my mobile phone, or I will phone them from Skype. Most of them know I'm kind of a one-man show, apart from some of my folks in the field. So, and they're okay with that. As long as I explain to them, listen, I'm not I don't have 50 people, 100 people working in a home office somewhere. It's me. They appreciate that. So as long as I'm upfront with them, that's quite all right. They're also quite all right knowing that they're contacting me, and it's me that they're going to have in the field. It's not that I'm contacting them to send them to some sort of outsourced person. It's I'm who they're dealing with. So they're okay if they have to wait a day or two to get a response on an email or something. But it is true that anytime I make my appointments, for example, I will get you this itinerary out, or here's a design for an idea that we may have, which I'm doing right now for next year. I make sure that I really make good on those while I'm let's say traveling less. Like now, it's kind of the down season a little bit. Some ski stuff going on, which I'm very involved in, but at the same time, I make sure that any appointments that I need to make, I can definitely make either via email or telephone. So
definitely, and the point with the interview really was to get people to understand that I mean, the way business used to be run in those days, where you need to have this whole big setup, you just have to figure out how, what works for you, and get rid of all the things that you don't necessarily need. And in your case now, basically, you're able to run a successful business with your laptop, your gear that's in your backpack, and using tools like Skype and all that to foster that personal one-on-one communication with your potential clients, and you're still getting things done. So that is
exactly. And I do have to admit, it's not just about the gear. I mean, the gear is very nice and it facilitates everything, but I would be willing to bet that most of the folks I know would come out with me simply because they know that I know the product. It is, in the end, you can't just put all of your weight into really cool internet marketing or a viral video. That's all and good. It gets a buzz. But at the end of the day, it's the product that is going to bring people back or turn people away. And if you have a product that falls short, then or maybe a help team or something like that isn't able to give assistance when assistance is needed, then that kind of takes the whole marketing thing away. It kind of pulls the wind right out of the sails there, because what point is doing all the marketing if in the end the product isn't a really valuable asset to the client? So.
Definitely, and from that, it's kind of like you have all this information you're putting out there, basically becoming a resource to them even before they even considering the need to even buy or get involved with your service. But at the end of the day, the service, when they get in, needs to also deliver on what you promised them via the marketing, so that they can stay.
Precisely. I also treat every customer that sends me an email from either referral, and most of them are referrals. I don't even treat them as a customer. I don't necessarily look immediately for the sale. Some people try to contact me just to have information. They just like to know a really good restaurant to eat at in Paris, or where to do camping in the south of France. And that's information that I have, and I don't see why they can't use me as a resource, because it's again, there is the online world, but there's also the offline world. These folks may go camping, they'll have a great time, and they'll tell their friends about them, and that in the end is probably the best marketing you could have, is word of mouth. So.
Definitely, and that's a nice way to end the interview. And before you go, I want you to kind of give my audience something to chew on, basically, in regards to if they had something that they're passionate about and they want to figure out, okay, I have this passion. In your case, the outdoors is your passion. How can they get from that challenge of seeing the big picture of how they can turn that passion into something that eventually will become business and revenue for them?
I would say the first step, at least, would to take whatever it is that you are passionate about and see how many other people are passionate about it. Go online, see if there are forums about it. Go online, see if there's a LinkedIn group about it or a Facebook group about it. Join those groups. Put out a couple feelers. Hey, what do people feel about, peppermint toothpaste or whatever it could be? See what kind of interest groups are out there. Do that. Do a little bit of use the Google Alerts, for example, and figure out what kind of pull there is out there, and then step away from your passion a little bit. See how you can market it. See what would it entail for you to push this, or to put it in what direction you would wish. But I wouldn't give up your total day job. If you're not completely passionate about your day job, but I would definitely do something on the side. Again, it's tough lugging all this stuff around, and it is tough also traveling a lot. But for me, it is a passion, and I will definitely do it for the love of the job, and I enjoy it a lot. So in the end, it's worth it. In the end, it's worth it.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. I really appreciate you doing this interview. And just before you go, if any of the audience member and a member of my community online want to get a hold of you, how best can they do that?
You can get a hold of me one of two ways. You can get me at Del Rosca, that's DELROSGA @gmail.com. Or if you'd like to check out the blog, simply at www.adventuretravellife. So it's all 3 words, all pushed together, .com, and you can see what I'm up to, and feel free to comment. I'd love to hear your comments, and if anyone needs to travel anywhere, please just drop me a line to either one of those, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Gabriel, for doing the interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Owen. It was a pleasure.
Well, we're done. So what do you think? Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed today's interview. And before you go, I want you to do me a favor. I'm trying to build my community of entrepreneurs who find my content useful on Facebook, so we can engage, have discussions live right there on Facebook. And to get to my page on Facebook, you go to www.facebook.com/HYVASSISTANT. And again, it's www.com. What am I saying? No, it's www.facebook.com/HYVASSISTANT. And when you get there, what you're going to do is look for the a button that says like, and you click on that button, and then basically you become a fan of the page. It's that simple. You don't even have to leave me your email. Just click on the button that says like. And again, the page to go to is www.facebook.com/HYVASSISTANT. And that stands for HYVAssistant. Real easy. I look forward to seeing you on Facebook. Have a great day.